All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. European champions, a couple of European champions right here. I've got Ameya, a European champion. I've got Kishan, a European champion. Myself, ladies and gentlemen, it's just going to be madness. Let's just put it that way. I know it's the end of the season, but every stream from here on in, we're going to rock up like a European champion. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to last till, I suppose, until at least the end of next season, unless we end up winning again. Do you know what I mean? And then we continue the process. Kishan, my man, how you doing?
I'm loving it. Literally, we should milk this for as long as possible. We could milk it for the rest of our history. Yeah, it's such a big thing. Like, when you look at how hard it is to win, and we've just gone and done it with that team that no one expected us to do. So absolutely buzzing, yeah.
Bro, three times, bro. We're beating Man City 3 times. It's not a joke. Charles Williams, Miz, I see lateness is greatness. Nah, man, it's just in the backstage, the boys and I, we were just talking about a few things and we just got carried away. So sorry, I'm a bit late. Generally, I'm not, you know that. Nat Min, a lot of lateness, my man. Sorry about that. Many people are getting on me on this lateness. I'm sorry. I will never be late again. This is not my thing. It's a Matisse thing, man. I'm not trying to be Matisse. Carefree, champions of Europe. You know what we are. That's right, baby. You know what we are, man. Champions of Europe. As I said, every stream we're going to be rocking up like this. Ameya, my man, how you doing?
Great. Honestly, like, this is probably the happiest I've felt in a sporting moment probably since we won the league under Kante, right? I mean, I still can't believe it. You know, it just feels surreal, and we're going to be unbearable, aren't we? Every time there's a debate about a player or anything. I mean, my gallery is literally full with player picks, right? I think I've got
same. My gallery is all player picks.
I've probably got Caballero's pick in there somewhere as well. Anytime someone starts an argument, not going to bother replying, especially if it's an Arsenal fan or United fan. Just stick the photo there and then that's it.
Absolutely, man. No clubs have any right to argue with us.
Ameya with a Caballero pick. I found so funny when Caballero literally ran past Pep, because he used to be his player as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's funny, man. So many funny moments post-match, man. Rudiger with some crazy dance moves. What else did I see? I saw some other crazy stuff. Tammy Abraham singing.
Zuma dancing.
Oh, Zuma. Oh, my days. And what about him with Ziyech, who's doing some crazy facial expressions?
Even Jorginho, that interview where they ask him, like, how does it feel? And he's like, how can I describe it? It's so good.
Havertz as well.
Havertz is doing
that. Yeah. What was that?
Sterling imitation.
What was that?
I'm pretty sure that's not actually a Sterling imitation, but then
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, it wasn't, but
you know what?
It was funny.
Every time, do you remember the last time we won the league under Antonio Conte, and they did the interview with Cesc Fabregas and Gary Cahill, and Cesc said, "Football is effing incredible." Do you know what I mean? And then Gary Cahill's like, "Ooh," and then the journalist's like, "I'm sorry." And then this time is again with Kai Havertz. What about your, the price tag? He's like, "I don't effing care. I'm a European champion."
Azpilicueta was like, when Azpi came into that interview as well, Azpi was buzzing. So good to see as well.
100, man, 100. We're going to talk about all of these players and all of these moments. Azpilicueta, I mean, so well deserved, man. But before we get into all of that, first of all, 30 people already logged on. This is pretty crazy. We're only 4 minutes into it, but a lot of people logged on. Smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot. It will basically, recommend for other people as well, and helps the video, as I said. And my panelists, check out their socials in the descriptions right now. Go and follow, especially with Ameya. He's got a YouTube channel, so go and subscribe, please. All right, boys, let's get straight into this. Got a lot of things to talk about, and I want the viewers to enjoy this massively. First of all, 2012 and 2021. But basically, this Chelsea news show will circulate around what Matt Law's article was about literally 24 hours ago. Really good article that he came up with, talked about a lot of things. So I want to talk, I'll go to you, Kishan, 2012 and 2021. The biggest difference for me is 2012, well, there's quite a lot of differences, right? 2012 was an absolute shithousery. Like it was, backs against our walls.
Yeah.
We didn't play that much football, but we were great counter-attacking side. We had lethal weapons in the team that just needed one chance to put things away. Do you know what I mean? Barcelona, backs against the wall, but John Terry with a red card, and then Frank Lampard with a nice through ball for Ramirez with a ding, and then obviously in the second leg as well. I think that was the second leg with the Torres. Ashley Cole bombs in a long ball. Torres then circles around, Valdez, and then the Napoli. I remember Napoli come back as well, and Bayern Munich in the final obviously was some absolute backs against the wall. We had so many players injured, and then you move on to this one. And it's not been like that. We've played football. Genuinely played some teams out of the park. Atletico Madrid, Porto, first leg, second leg as well. We took a lot of battering from them, but we should have won that. Real Madrid absolutely cleaned them up. Man City, let's be honest, Kishan. No one can say that we snuck a victory against Man City. We deserved a win. In fact, we probably should have scored 2 in the first 5 minutes from Timo Werner. And then we should have scored the Pulisic one later on in the second half. I can't remember Man City having too many chances. So how do you see the two eras, 2012 and 2021? Obviously, a lot of youngsters now, a lot of legends back then that were on their last legs.
You literally summed it up perfectly when you said we shithoused our way to that one. It's definitely not the same with this one. I read a stat that we were only behind for a combined total of 5 minutes in this whole Champions League season. And when you look
we conceded 4 goals only.
We conceded 4, and the teams we were down against was Krasnodar when we'd already wrapped the group up. So it was a bit of a dead rubber. I remember him playing a lot of players like Billy hadn't really had a chance, so he stuck Billy in there. And then the other game where we went behind was the Taremi goal for a minute. So when you look at that, this Champions League was pure domination when you compared to the other one, and I'm really glad because I don't personally care when people say we fluked our way to the Champions League in 2012 because it's that trophy. Like if you fluke your way to FA Cup and then you get the whole papering over cracks debate or whatever, fairs, you can use a Champions League that can paper over any crack. I don't care, but it's just that team peaked at the Champions League win, whereas players like Mason Mount and Reece James, is almost weird that their first trophy is a Champions League, even though they've won the FA Cup.
It's insane.
You normally have stepping stone trophies. Like you got to win the old Carabao or FA Cup and then get to the Champions League.
Win the. Are we part of any pre-season competitions? Win some of those first year.
Like the Audi Cup.
Audi Cup.
Yeah. No, but this feels like the start of something, and that's what the Matt Law article was getting at, that 2012 felt like the end of something where we wrapped up that whole decade of domination with that as the major prize. But we started this one off as that major prize, and it's like, where do we go from here? We obviously have to go for the league title next season and in the next few seasons.
100.
The thing is with that 2012 one, when we say that was the end of a great period, it was really right, because if you look at us since then, we've not really challenged for the Champions League. I know in 2014 we got to semi-finals, but we haven't really pushed on as a club in that competition. So
after 2012, Kishan, there was a massive run in Champions League.
People forget this season when we beat Atletico was the first time we won a knockout game since 2014.
Exactly.
And we won. Then we won 3 knockout games, and then we won the whole thing.
It's we took revenge for all the heartaches.
It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. And literally, I was thinking this as well. Like, out of all the managers we've had, we've seen a lot of managers. Thomas Tuchel for me is right. Number one.
Genius.
I'm not saying greatest for Chelsea. I'm saying in terms of my personal favorite, in terms of the charisma he's got, in terms of how he speaks to the media, in terms of his character, he is my favorite manager.
In terms of the length of the stay he's had so far,
bro, he's had 4 months. He's won the Champions League in 4 months. And
unbelievable.
The fact that his family it seems like his family is bought into. They were with him in the final. It's
His
that whole
was it his grandma? He said his
grandma's watching. She's watching
at home, he said.
90-year-old. He's hoping she don't have a heart attack. But my goodness. Like,
with that Mahrez strike especially.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? We need to go back to that watch-along I did, because I'm pretty sure my Mahrez, I thought was like, oh my God, this is in.
But that was the victory right there. When that didn't go in, that was the victory.
Yeah.
We could go like this, but then inside you're like, that is that. But yeah, those are the main differences between 2012 and 2021. Like, and we've got a lot more to be excited with this time round than we had previously, because this team is not peaking. Is nowhere near as peak. Imagine when these players get to 25 and add some players, some hungry players like I will get onto transfer news, I'm sure, but like a Lukaku who's not done that yet, and he'll want to look at this team and think, I need mine as well. So you come to this team and you add those extra hungry players. I think we're on a massive upward trajectory this time.
100%, man, 100%. Ameya, this one's a really nice comment from the Beautiful Game. Thank you so much, Beautiful Game, for this comment. Miz, would I be out of order if I said this UCL was easier? What's your thoughts, first of all, Ameya? And then let me sort of gather my thoughts around it. I don't know if I would say it was easier. I think last one we kind of made it difficult on ourselves, because we just said we're anti-football. Do you know what I mean? We're going to stand back. We're just try and get you on the counter. So you play football. Whereas this one, I think we came across some very difficult oppositions as well, but we didn't want to play anti-football. We just wanted to showcase our style. So, I mean, we played Real Madrid, Porto, Atletico Madrid, Man City in the final. I mean, what would you say, man? What would you say?
I think I can see his point, right? Honestly, because as soon as the quarterfinal, semi-final, final draw was out, I mean, you could know right then that we weren't going to face either of Bayern or PSG, right, until the final, because Bayern, PSG, and City were all on the other side of the group, and then we had if you look at it from that sense, I think there is a point, right? I mean, obviously, I would prefer facing Porto over facing Bayern Munich or PSG or City in the quarterfinal. So in that sense, I mean, with no disrespect to Porto, of course, but then in that sense, I think there is sort of a point. But at the same time, it's not like we scraped through any of that, right? We absolutely dominated every single side that we came up against it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if we won the trophy, I don't care how easy it was. We're the champions, right? We're the best team in Europe at the moment, and everyone else has got to live with that.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. And not just that, like, you know, everyone touted City to be the best in Europe. We've beaten them 3 times, Ameya. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. The other thing that I want to ask you as well, before I get back to Kishan, Ameya, just actually, Kishan, add your point, because I think it was related to this, and then I want to ask something to Ameya again. What were you going to add?
Yeah, so with that comment, I think I get what you mean in terms of like the overall sort of factor with the suffering. Like Tuchel talks about suffering, but you forget how much like demi suffering you have in each match. So every match when we're emotionally invested, like games like Atletico first leg, now it looks back and you think, oh yeah, we polished them. But in that game, there were so many scenarios that you have to defend through, that you have to, it's so difficult. I know we were only down for 5 minutes, but that's because of how great we are. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily easier, but because our team was so good, we made it seem a lot easier on an aggregate level. Whereas if you look at that previous Champions League, we were like 3-1 down to Napoli in the first leg, and then the second leg you have to go all out to win. Barcelona, you got a red card, backs to the walls, that kind of thing. We didn't have anything like that, but there were periods where we had to stuff. We defended so well that it's almost made it seem like we breezed through this Champions League. And with the run-in, I think it don't matter what run-in you get. If you get City in the final, we were heavily expected to lose when you look at
Exactly.
Like the Athletic did a poll between their writers, and 15 of their writers had City to win, 4 had Chelsea to win. So it just shows what people thought. And to beat City in the final is no mean feat, especially when you look at Pep's final record, as everyone used to try and scare us with as well. So I'm not having none of that. This was an easy one to win.
No, me neither, man. Kudos to the team, man. They did it. They did it well. Definitely not going to have it either. That they did it easier, man. You're right, Kishan. There have been instances in every match where we've did it tough. We suffered. Do you know what I mean? We played that sufferable. Test Merchant, thank you so much for the super chat. This is actually related to what I'm going to say to ask Ameya, because I do want to get his thoughts on this. How does this young group cope with the winning young? Obviously, it's like you've won the epitome, like the pinnacle Champions League, like before you won anything else. So it's pretty crazy. Answer that. And the other thing that I want to talk about, which Kishan kind of touched on, that, we need to stay hungry to keep winning. Do you know what I mean? Super Cup, Club World Cup, Premier League has got to be the priority next season. And I saw that interview Rio Ferdinand did with Pep Guardiola before the Champions League. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. That was an immense interview, by the way, by BT. Honestly, brilliant interview. Go and check it out. And shout out to Rio Ferdinand, man. Amazing, journalist these days, or reporter, pundit, whatever. But yeah, Ameya, he asked Pep Guardiola that, how do you keep churning the wins? Like, how do you constantly just keep winning like that? Do you know what I mean? How do you make sure that you still have the hunger in each of these players? He goes, you gotta keep changing. You gotta keep evolving, man. You gotta know when to let go of some players and then bring in new players, so on and so forth. So, just with that, how does the young group cope with winning young, and also how do we keep motivating these players to ensure we keep winning? Because this has been the issue that Thomas Tuchel recently said in press conference, that we know our level, Ameya. We know how we can play. The one final against Man City is the level that you want to play every single week. That's the level that you should be playing against, I don't know, Brighton, for example. Do you know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's a very good point about motivation, genuinely, because that's been our issue for a while now. I think like the Jose Mourinho 15-16 season, that really embodies that point, right? I mean, we won the league in 14-15, and then 15-16 we were 16th until December, and then we had to climb our way back. So that was really horrifying situation. So I think I get what you're saying, right? But at the same time, you look at this young group of players, you look at Mason Mount's interview right after winning the Champions League, and he says that I've got to get better. Right. He doesn't say that we won the Champions League. You know what? I'm the best midfielder. He doesn't say that. He says, I've got a long way to go still. This is not my best. And that's the sort of mentality.
They asked him, do you think you're getting to world-class level? And he's like, no. Don't class me world-class yet. Like, I found that that was humble, man. You know what I mean? Like, very, very humble.
Exactly. And that is what I feel about this young group of players. I genuinely think, especially the academy graduates, right? Our academy is genuinely built different. I don't know if you guys saw that photo where all the academy graduates were, all around the trophy. I think Christensen, Mount, Rees, Tammy, even Tino Angelin was thrown in there as well. So I think they have that winning mentality from the academy level itself. Because if I don't remember exactly who, but then I do remember one academy player coming out and saying that at Chelsea, right, the way that they drill you is not to play football. The way they drill you is to win, right? Yeah. And that is taught from the very young stages. So I think if you've come through the academy, then I definitely think you're going to have the hunger, as well as the other players, right? I don't think any of them, at least at this young age, I genuinely think that most of them have that personality to go about their business and then learn even more. I don't see, that, not that I'm judging, but those showboaters, those type of players like Pogba, for example. He's a great player. I love Paul Pogba, but at the same time, none of our young players are like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say that openly, but then and none of our young players show that kind of attitude, at least now. So hopefully they're not, now that they've conquered the top, hopefully it's not all downward from there. Hopefully they can continue their upward trajectory, because like Kishan and you, both of you mentioned, this is just the beginning, right? The 2012, there was the 2008 upset in the final when Terry slipped, and then after that, the following season, we got robbed against Barcelona with that referee disaster class. So I think that was the period where we should have actually won, right? And then 2012 was 2012 was like the everyone was towards their twilight of the
towards the
careers,
end.
and then and they somehow got there in the end. And I think Drogba came out and said that as well. Like, all the leaders of the dressing room got together and they decided that it's a mess up a season domestically, but let's give it our all in the Champions League. That's what it was. But that's not what this season was at all, right? There's still a young group of players, and the only players above 25 in our entire lineup was probably Mendy and Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
So everyone, and Aspilicueta probably
And
as well.
Aspilicueta,
But apart
Kante
from
as
that,
well.
Kante as well, fair enough. But basically, the point being, there's a lot of young players. And this should ideally be just the beginning of the domination, and we should really go for the Premier League before we go for another Champions League. Although I know this sounds very weird, but then I would genuinely want us to contend more for the Premier League now. It's been too long. It's been far too long.
For sure, man. Kishan, it goes nicely into the next topic, which is about the Chelsea dynasty, right? I mean, Tuchel was asked this, and he straight away said that, yeah, look, of course, this is the bunch of group of players that are hungry. They want to achieve big things, a lot of things. But then he also said, I do need, I want to be back then. We probably need 2 to 3 new players, not 6 or 7 players or 7 or 8 players. I just need 2 to 3 players to just fine tune a few things. So is that how you see it as well? Like, in order to get that dynasty going, like, Chelsea do need to, we can't just, stay put in this summer. We've got to look to improve in certain areas. Let's be honest, we're all in a high at the moment, and we want all of these players to stay with us and just continue with us. But we know what's going to happen, Kishan. Once the dust settles and the grind starts again, we do need to improve. Like, for example, up front, we need goals, Kishan. We need goals, man. Do you know what I mean? We can't have Timo Werner keep missing these sitters. Do you know what I mean? We need some goals. In the midfield, maybe we need something as well with some of the players getting injured, just a different variety. And then if we ever think about changing the formation, and that's up for debate at the moment, what do we do? There's some centre-backs that's being linked as well. So what's your thoughts about the whole dynasty situation? And do you think perhaps we do need few players to continue this particular run?
Well, like you said, with the Pep Guardiola interview that he did with Rio, he said you need to know when the time's right to offload some of these players as well. So it's almost like, it's a weird one, because we've just won the Champions League and you're emotionally attached to a lot of these players now. But with some of them, you kind of can't forget what came before that. And it's such a weird thing, football, because had we lost this game, you'd have all those mentality issues. You'd have all these mentality issues, people saying, oh, they've bottled that 2 FA Cups, a Champions League final and whatnot. But because we've won now, it's just a complete switch around. And but like we said, we can't act like this team is perfect. Our squad suited knockout football to the T. And it was almost felt like Liverpool a few years ago when they kind of got to that Champions League final. It's because we peaked at the right time of the season, where when Tuchel came in, like, the season wasn't gone from him. So when we went into the knockouts, thankfully we were there and we finished first in our group. It was very, very smooth for Tuchel to come in and carry on from there, and he did really well. But in the course of a 38-game season, I'm not saying we need to lose some of these players. We need to lose the ones who haven't been playing at all, to be honest. So ones like Tammy Abraham, the writing's on the wall. Like, if you're not,
he wasn't even in the squad, bro.
If you're not in the squad for the Champions League final, So ones like Tammy, I think Fikayo Tomori, that should already happen. Then few more like that. Whereas apparently,
Kishan, the thing about Fikayo Tomori is he was certain to sign for AC, but now that we won the Champions League, it's like, maybe I want to come back.
I didn't hear that, but that was always something I thought, where Tomori, he's one of these English players. So I always thought he'd go to AC Milan, do really well there. But I always thought, when it comes to making the move permanent and you're signing like a 4 or 5 year contract, you're away from home and you're looking around, there's not that many English players there in the dressing room. He still looks like he gets on well with everyone. But I just thought, if we really wanted to keep him and we said to him, like, no, we want you in our squad, we'll have you this, we'll give you an improved contract, whatsoever, I think he joins. But I'm not too sure on him. There's a lot of fans who think, oh, he could be our savior when he comes back in centre. But I think it's not a bad option to cash in on him, and we'll see how that one works out. But like you said, I read something about Tuchel having around a 250 million budget, and he wants to bring in 2-3 players and not 7. So we're signing world beaters, if we're being honest. If we're signing 2-3 players with that budget, they have to be absolute world beaters, or they'll get to that level very soon. And it's fine tuning this team now, because there's not that much wrong with this team when you look at it. But it's almost like when Mourinho had his first season and he looked at what he needed and he brought in Cesc and brought in Costa, that was the league. We need our Cesc and our Costa. Well, not directly. We need our Costa for sure, but we need someone like a DM in the mold of a proper DM. And then maybe we'll see if we can fine tune any other areas. If we're going to a back four, maybe we need a centre back and stuff. But it's all very, very minute, and we can only buy world class quality. There's no point buying. I see a lot of links with like Jonas Hoffman and Julian Weigl and players like that. There's no need for that. I would way rather we sign a starting player, and then we have our Jorginho Kovacic's, which can easily rotate in as well.
Yeah. No, agreed, man. 100% agreed. We're the European champions, man. We're not going to go out there and buy like secondary players. Like, we got to buy the top tiers now, and we should get the players to come to us. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need the top players out there. Like, for example, iTest Merchant. Thank you so much for the super chat again. Is Haaland possible at all? I think it probably is possible. Haaland should be excited to join the European champion. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of this time we've been chasing him. It's about time he chases us now.
Should put a tweet out. Should put a tweet out, Miz, that I'm signing for the Champions League winners. That was, you know, the Dubois thread, the CFC Dubois thread, where everything lined up. Another thing is a player with the initials EH tweets, I'm signing for the Champions League winner.
Yeah, that's the one we're missing. That was it. But to answer your question, iTest, I don't see why it's not possible. The thing is, I think he's staying at Dortmund. That's the issue, because Dortmund's made the Champions League and he's kind of decided. He's come out and said that he wants to stay now. Oh.
Did he disconnect?
Hold on. Got you back, bro. What's going on?
Yep. With the Kane thing, I think a lot of fans think we can't get him, and fair enough. Even I think it's really difficult. But now, don't you think our Champions League win puts more daylight between us and Spurs? That like the move, almost the rivalry becomes like almost secondary now. It's very weird. We hate each other. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like we're so far clear now.
Just give us Kane. Just give us Kane. Like, seriously, you're not a rival. We're not rivals. You've won nothing, and we've pretty much winning things second time. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
we've won the best trophy. We've won the biggest trophy you can win in European football.
Exactly.
And these are struggling for a Carabao. It's like, no,
bro, don't knock them, but they're going to be back for the Audi Cup again. You know what? Yeah, that's the only thing they seem to be winning. But I get your point, Kishan, man. Like, enough with these rivals, man. Like, we're not your rival, Tottenham. Like, go be rivals with with Arsenal. Like, just give us Kane. So I test Merchant, to answer your question, man. In short, I think Haaland's possible. I don't think it's happening. That's the thing. I think any transfer is possible with us. We're the European champions. We should be favourites for all the top players out there. Do you know what I mean? So Haaland is most likely staying at Dortmund because he said that he wants to continue for one more season, and then next season the release clause comes in, because it's going to have to be something mammoth to get him out now. So I don't think that's going to happen. Kane, although you say impossible, seriously, if Kane is smart, then and he wants to stay in London, he should move to Chelsea. Under Thomas Tuchel, this guy is going to be an absolute madness. And I know he's going to be an absolute madness under Pep Guardiola as well, don't get me wrong. And I think he's probably going there. But then again, there's a little caveat now, boys. There's all these rumors about Pochettino coming back. I don't know how much of that is true. And maybe Poch can, perhaps convince him. But look, it's their loss. If you don't want to join us, then you're missing out on the train. We're going to go win everything. So it's your loss. So that's all I'm going to say. But to basically get back to our point, what we were saying in terms of dynasty, I think we can create a massive dynasty here. look, Liverpool were thinking they were going to create a dynasty, and look what happened to them. So we've got to stay humble as well. But at the same time, we've got to buy key players. I think this summer we cannot just be sitting around. We need to go out there, get ourselves a striker, get ourselves a DM. These are the two important positions. And if we think about changing the formation, which is for another show, another debate, huge debate, then we definitely need to look into get ourselves maybe a centre back, because I'm not quite sure how our centre backs suit in a back four. As great as Rudiger has been, Thiago Silva is probably the only one. Do you know what I mean? And Zuma probably the other one. But Zuma lately, Thomas Tuchel really doesn't favour.
Miz, when you look at Silva now as well, it's going to be very hard to rely on him for a whole season, because there's been quite a few times now, like where, when he overstretches or stuff, he's 36, so fair enough. But when he stretches and stuff, he does pull up, because we had that Spurs game where he seemed to pull up. He pulled up,
But what happened
in the final as well? So,
he leaped up against Foden, and then he landed awkward. Well, not even awkward. He landed heavy, and then the groin area got injured. So, yeah, man, it is something to think about. It's something we'll obviously talk about as well. Thank you so much, Vigard, for this super chat. Is Kante the most important player in the Champions League winning side in the last decade? All the other teams had several superstars or were at the height of their powers. The young team is ahead of schedule. Let's actually talk about this, because one of the topics that we have lined up is Kante. Ameya, I mean, yeah, he has to be one of the most important players probably in the last decade in the Champions League winning side. He has to be. Not just in that perspective, but for Chelsea's perspective as well. I think extremely important when he hasn't played in recent times for us due to injury. And that's the key thing at the moment, is how we manage him. And I think Thomas Tuchel has been managing him well. But for me, there was all these debates not that long ago. Oh, should we sell Kante? Maybe it's time to sell him, get cash in on him. I don't think so. This guy keeps getting better and better and better. Do you know what I mean? So, and his humble attitude is so great. It must be brilliant. You can see post-match Zuma literally carrying him around in the field. So I think the players absolutely love him and adore him. But I do want to say, Ameya, I don't think he can play every game anymore. I don't know if he can play like definitely this season, the 3 back-to-back in a week, which was a crazy season. But next season, when it gets a bit normal, we still will have about 2 games a week. And I'm not really sure if he can keep backing himself up for 2. So from that instance, do you sort of feel that this is probably another reason why we do need a DM, but at the same time, we still need to manage Kante because he's so important?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think, though, with Kante, it's a different style of DM. I think the DM that we should be looking for is the one to sort of cover the back four, right? To sit in front of the back four and be a destroyer. We have to look to our East London rivals.
Just say the name,
captain,
bro.
I think. Okay, it's Declan Rice, boys. It's Declan Rice. Don't come for me. Don't come for me.
You heard it here, guys. Almost 100 people here. Ameya wants Declan Rice. He wants all our DM sacked.
But I mean, that's the sort of stature that we should be looking at. And in that sense, I think the 4 of them could coexist pretty fine as well. I think Billy Gilmour would probably miss out in that situation. But I mean, you look at the 4 players, right? Jorginho, right? But he doesn't suit all the games. Kovacic is pretty good, but sometimes gets caught out of position and tends to lose the ball, especially off late. And N'Golo Kante is probably the best player in our squad right now, but at the same time, can he play 2-3 games a week? Not sure. So we need that 4th option, right? And we need a different type of player. So it's really a no-brainer. But at the same time, selling Kante has got to be the worst notion anyone's probably ever had. And if anyone thinks that at this moment, just hit your head against the wall, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, N'Golo Kante, it's no coincidence that he's had such a successful decade, right? He's won 2 Premier Leagues, one with Leicester, one with Chelsea. He's won the World Cup. He's won the Europa League, and now he's won the Champions League as well. If he goes on to win the Euros now in the summer, I mean, it's no coincidence, right? And he's played a major part in every single one of those. Leicester City's title charge, very important player. Chelsea's title win, I think. World Cup as well. He didn't play that well in the final, but yeah.
Leicester Premier League, I feel like it counts for like 5 or 6 because it's with Leicester as well.
Exactly.
His trophy cabinet is very like concentrated. It's not like a lot of cups like the FA or the Carabao and stuff. But I feel like in terms of value that he's brought to each
it's
one,
big. It's big.
and he's joined that very exclusive club of Premier League, Champions League, and World Cup. There's only 6 others. So a very exclusive club.
That's amazing. Actually, I didn't even think about it that way. That's so true, bro.
I saw another stat. I think if you include the Europa League as well, Pedro is the only other player to have done that.
Oh, yeah.
Pedro and Kante are the only ones to have won all the 4 trophies.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. By the way, Ameya, Kante for Ballon d'Or?
I mean, yeah, obviously as a Chelsea fan, yes, but at the same time, I think that if you count trophies in, then I think he should definitely have a shout in the top 10 for sure. But if you look at individual quality, Messi again this season he's carried that Barcelona team so much.
Have you
seen his stats? Have you seen his stats this season?
Messi is not over.
His stats this season
I'm not listening to that. Miz, you're saying Messi is over, and just look at the numbers he's put out. He's over, and that's the numbers he's put out.
What has he won, bro? What has he won
exactly.
this season?
That's what my argument is.
Lewandowski, though.
People saying Lewandowski. So, someone calling him Robert Golondowski.
Lewandowski.
I think he broke
interview.
Yeah.
And
then he broke Gerd Muller's Bundesliga record as well this season. So I don't know. It's interesting to see what happens. But I think if trophies does take a bearing, then it could get interesting. But individual quality, I'd have to say Messi. Up, Kishan, go ahead.
Yeah, Kishan, what were you going to say?
Because it's like you can see it's happened since Tuchel, but you kind of got to remember that it didn't just start then. Like before, until about January, he wasn't. It was like there was a lot of talk of people saying, this guy looks like he's finished." But that was him playing in the wrong system. But still contributes to his season. So I don't think realistically it's a shout. But I'd love it if he did, because, like you say, the influence of
Messi as well. The beginning of the season, bro, it wasn't that great. It came alive later on. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to leave Barcelona, Messi. Do you know what I mean?
When you look at him, though, Ms. Benzema, so-called, had this amazing season and whatnot, and Messi had this rubbish season, and he's still, I think, what was it, 30 league goals, Ameya?
I think 30 plus. Yeah, 30 plus. I think something around 35. But you know what? If Messi doesn't score 60, then it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's created a standard, bro. 35 is like Ross Barkley scoring 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. Do you know what I mean? So,
this is the thing, Miz, with Kante, when we talk about unique players to have ever existed, Messi is right up there. But I'd shift Kante pretty much to that level, or if not one below, because Messi is a next level alien.
I have to
Kante
agree.
is so unique. You will not find another guy like this. I know people will say Makaleli or whatever, but
do you know why Kante doesn't get all the plaudits and everything as much as he should? Because he doesn't score goals. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone talks about the Lewandowskis, Cristiano Ronaldo's, Lionel Messi. But I so agree with you, Kishan. Like, the uniqueness of Kante, what he does in midfield. Tell me this, Kishan. If I was to tell you right now, make your world's best 11 of the players that are playing right now, as if you wouldn't have Kante in your team.
Absolutely. You got to have him in. And even in the greatest Premier League team of all time debate now, I think he's literally in there, because I know you can say other midfielders could do a lot.
Shout.
A lot of other players could do more.
I hope they don't mean the City Mendy or the Real Madrid Mendy. I hope it's Edouard Mendy. But yeah, go on, Kishan, bro.
I say I get that a lot of other players could do more, but what Kante does is that he could be up against a central defensive midfielder, 6'4", 6'5", and you look at little Kante, you think, how are you going to get the ball off? And he will rob the ball and run away and start an attack. It's like such a.
What about the header?
It's,
What about the header in the final, Kishan? How he leaped up above John Stones and Ruben Diaz.
He won 4 aerial duels. So every aerial duel, he had 100% record in the final. He didn't commit one foul. It's just like he is one of those players that when you look back at his career, you're like, it's actually an honor that he played for our club. He is that good.
Give him the Ballon d'Or, bro. That's it. Enough discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, enough discussion. Give him the Ballon d'Or. That's what we're going to say. 151 people on. Like, this is insane. Seriously, smash the like button if you're enjoying it. Looks like you guys are enjoying it. Smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot. Helps the video out a lot. And my panelists, these guys, as I told you, they're going to be here weekly, once a week, always. Generally, it's Sunday, but last couple of weeks we've been sort of shifting it around. But generally, it is going to be on a Sunday, 11 a.m. UK time. So do look out for that Chelsea news with the boys right here if you're enjoying. But yeah, let's move on swiftly to the other topics here. I'll go to you this time, Ameya. Thiago Silva and Thomas Tuchel, contract extensions coming up. First, let's talk about Thomas Tuchel. Bro, I don't even think he needs to even apply for it. I think he could just walk into the office just like any other day, and they should literally have a plate with all signed up documents and deliver to him and say, we've pretty much said everything. You just need to plug in how much you want and how many years do you want. And everything else is already typed up and signed. You just fill in those couple of blocks and we're ready to go. I mean, Ameya, what would you want to see? Like, I know with Chelsea managers, it's crazy. And here's a bit of a downer. I don't want to bring everyone down. I know we've won the Champions League, but if we are starting next season in the middle of the season, we're 10th or 11th, we know what Chelsea Football Club does. They're going to get rid of this manager, right? Because we cannot have it. Do you know what I mean? Like, say 15 games, 20 games have gone and we're like 10th in the table. We've seen it many times that we've just said, you know what, it's not happening, let's move on. But I'm hoping this is not the case ever again. Thomas Tuchel does manage to win the Premier League title next season, which I'm absolutely backing him. But what would you, honestly, is this for the first time? Like, I know we've talked about it many times. Frank Lampard probably was a vision for us for a long time as well. But is this now, genuinely speaking, a particular manager that you want the board to wholeheartedly back? You want him to have the environment to operate at his best level. You want all sort of transfers to go through him as well, so he gets a big input on it. And then hopefully he stays for a long time, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I hope he's the manager of the Abramovich era who can break the chain, right? I don't know how else to say it. He has to be that man now. I think in the past we've backed a lot of managers, but sometimes Roman's like, nah, ain't happening, out you go. But so many times we've seen the managers lose faith as we've seen the players lose faith in the manager as well. But this time, and under Frank Lampard as well, we said that, he should be given a long duration, but then he had no proven track record, right? So I get that. But with Thomas Tuchel, if someone asks why he should be here, he should just point to the trophy cabinet and be like, you see that biggest trophy there? I brought that here all the way from Portugal. So I don't think that, anybody's going to have any issues whatsoever. It's all so smooth sailing for now, at least. When things get sour, we can see later on Thomas Tuchel does have a little bit of an ego when it comes to that. That's why he fell out with the PSG and the Dortmund board as well. But for now, all things are going very smoothly. It's all happening now. And I hope that long may it continue. Hopefully we don't jinx it. And with the contract extension, I think it's a no-brainer because initially he just signed an 18-month deal, right? So I think it's probably at the end of this season, the 2022 season. So it's a no-brainer that he should be extended for another season or two at least, because especially with if you have to compete for the Premier League, and imagine if he just falls short this season, then the season after that, he's 100% going to have to go and win it. So in that regard, deserves a contract extension 100%. Hopefully it all works out. And I don't think that he's done yet. Quite honestly, I don't think that he's done yet because he won the Champions League. Yes, it's the biggest, but then the Premier League is still there to be won. And I think until he wins that, he's not going to go. Hopefully I don't jinx this. I genuinely hope I don't jinx this, but hopefully he is the man to take us forward and build that dynasty that we were talking about just a couple of minutes earlier.
Yeah, man, I really want to see him win the Premier League. I think Yeah, look, no doubt Champions League is the pinnacle, but the Premier League has a different flavour. We all know that. And Kishan, I want to ask you this. Ameya touched on something very important. He said that in Dortmund and in PSG, there were some issues with the board and whatnot, especially in PSG, there were some clear issues. But in the press conferences and the interviews that he's had so far, that he's come in, few times he's mentioned, Kishan, that I've learned a few lessons as well, that I can't be clashing heads all the time. Sometimes I need to listen to them as well. Sometimes we need to come to a middle ground. And I like that because, Kishan, let's face it, you can't have an Antonio Conte approach wherever you go. You can't just be like, it's either my way or highway. I'm out of here. Do you know, like he's already left Inter Milan. Do you know what I mean? Like he's won the Scudetto, he's left. He's done the same thing with us as well. And I know with Inter there were other issues, financial issues and whatnot. But do you like that whole thing? I know a lot of people say the board has to back the manager, but at the same time, the manager also has to compromise, right? Like it's a two-way street, yeah?
For sure. And like from his comments, it shows that at least he's willing to learn and take on what went wrong in the past and sort of look to not make the same mistakes again, which is massive for us. And when you look at the kind of fallings out he's had, and it was like Dortmund and PSG, I think PSG were making a lot of weird sort of signings. And Leonardo with the board, they were like, I remember because the Thiago Silva extension came up and Leonardo was like, no, we don't really want to extend. Then after the Champions League, he goes to him and says, hey,
I'm so glad he thought that way. I'm so glad he thought that way.
And he goes to him and he says, do you want to extend? And he's like, oh, sorry, I've said yes to Frank Lampard. So it's like, there wasn't really any clear thought into, and when you look at like Chelsea, I think a lot of the problem we had was when we were signing mediocre players for Kante. But I really just can't see that happening anymore. And with the whole dynasty thing, I think it's been quite clear that Roman has always wanted this sort of attacking manager. Roman wanted Pep. I think it's quite a known fact that he was quite set on Pep, but Pep just never came to us. This could be that guy. And I know you guys are saying the dynasty with going all out for the Premier League trophy. I want us to be so ruthless. I want us to even break Man City's Carabao dominance because it annoys me that it honestly annoys me so much that trophy is just a given for them every year. Like,
bro, have you seen how Pep talks about that? He goes, people might think that's a teapot trophy, but try and win it 4 times. And I'm like, you know what? I want to win it 5 times. Do you know?
Honestly, it's like, because it's a major trophy in our league, and people will say, I get the whole history difference between the FA and the Carabao, but I think in today's day and age, it's not as like there's more of a level playing field compared to like past. The FA Cup was a lot bigger. I still would rather win the FA Cup, but he feels like he knows that the Chelsea way is winning, and even these cups, he knows he has to get to the final and he has to win them. The FA Cup, he didn't manage to win this time. We let him off massively because what he has done is a lot bigger than that. But in these seasons, to really build a dynasty, let's not kid ourselves. We still need to get to Pep levels, and that's where we aspire to be. We've done something he can't, but now we need to do the other side of it. Yeah. We need to do the other side. And you could probably say now the harder side, even though we've probably won the best trophy, we need to go back and become consistent with it over the
Kishan,
next
you're right,
4
though.
5 years.
You're right, though. Winning Champions League is a it's a competition. You have the group stage, then you have the knockout phase. Premier League is over a grueling 38-match long season, injuries, craziness, transfers. It is harder. It is very, very hard. You know what I mean? So, you're right. UCL is the pinnacle. It's the best competition, the cup to win. But Premier League is a lot harder to win. 100%. I agree with that. Let's talk a little bit about Thiago Silva before we start talking about the transfers, because the live chat is buzzing, man. 182 live at the moment. Smash the like button. We're going to talk about transfers very, very soon. We do want to talk about Thiago Silva as well. Kishan, Thiago Silva's contract extension is coming up very soon. Fabrizio Romano, here we go. Almost every single day for the last 6 months, he's been saying, here we go. He's ready to give it official, here we go. Do you know what I mean? This is a no-brainer, yeah, Kishan. He's got to stay around, but What's your thoughts, man? I mean, there's Mark Gehi. Like, tell me what you're doing next season, like with all the CBs that we have. Like, do we need any new flavor? Do we keep everyone? Do we just trust everyone that's here at the moment? Obviously, Thiago Silva stays for another season. What's your thoughts, man?
I feel like we're at a level where I get a lot of these Mark Gahey calls to
Look
get
at this,
into the
bro.
team.
Leeds people are here saying, thank you, man. This is round of applause, everyone. This is brilliant. We got Leeds people coming here giving us congratulations. Thank you. Sorry, Kishan, go on, bro.
With Mark Gahey, yeah. So I get the whole thing that he did really well in the championship, but we got to realize that we're going for a league now. And I know you can have that sort of year where you can say we integrated Mason Mount and Reece. We were so far off the title and we didn't have a shot at it before the season started. This is like we're a complete different club now. So I get the calls to get Mark Gahey in, but I'd really like to see him in a Premier League loan, if I'm being honest, especially with the teams coming up and stuff like that. So yeah, I do think it heavily depends on the systems, like you said. We've got Rudiger, we've got players like that, but you can see them doing really well in the 3. We're not sure how that translates into 2. So I think with the budget we've got, we could look to a very elite centre back, someone like Marquinhos. I know the club seems very keen on Varane. I'm not too sure on Varane, which is a bit weird. But
I rather want the other guy, Militao. I think Militao is very good from
Militao is very good, yeah.
He is very good. I'd rather have him. Do you know what I mean?
Left-footed as well, yeah.
Left-footed as well. By the way, Pau Torres looked pretty all right as well. I'm not sure if you guys saw Villarreal. Pau Torres looked good. Do you know what I mean? But
it wouldn't be too expensive as well, apparently.
No, he wouldn't. He would be around 40 million, I think.
That's very good value.
Pau Torres looked very good. I was very impressed by Militao from Real Madrid. But look, I'm a bit torn in this particular department. There's Christensen. Let's talk a little bit about Christensen. Obviously, Silva stays with the contract extension. It's happening. Man, Christensen, kudos. Not many people are talking about this guy, man. Silva gets injured. He comes in, slots in nicely, and he does a madness. And then that last-minute block, 95th, 96th minute block. And then throughout the game, he was so incomposed. It's like the man was playing forever. Like he was literally injured for like a good month before he came into a Champions League final and played predominantly all of the match. Ameya, what's your thoughts about CBs? Like, do we need a new flavor of CB next season? I know Kishan said Marquinhos. You know how I feel about Marquinhos, man. I'd love him. I want that whole vibe of Marquinhos and Thiago Silva chest bumping and bring that vibe into Stamford Bridge. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man.
Thiago Silva pulls up with an injury.
Ribcage injury. Do you know what I mean? He's not up for it. But yeah, man. I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole CB situation?
It's probably our weirdest department, because if you look at midfield, if you look at attack, we know that in attack we need that clinical, strong built-up striker to give the opposition defenders a nightmare and then score the goals when you get the chance. In midfield, you know for sure that you need that midfield destroyer, but in defense, there's no one particular attribute that we're looking for. I think last season under Lampard, what we were looking for was experience, and we got that in abundance with Thiago Silva. But 2 decades of experience almost. But this time around, what we need, I don't really know, because you say you want an experienced, solid defender. You've got Rudiger, who's made a very good comeback. He's experienced, he's solid as well. And then you want a young academy graduate. You've got Andres Christensen, who's still fairly young when it comes to academy years, right? And you've also, and if you want a tall, dominant, no-nonsense defender, you've got Kurt Zouma at the club. Right. Yeah. So we have every single profile of players, right? And Thiago Silva, not to mention the experience bit. So it's very hard to understand what sort of player we need as a centre back. And I think until one of our centre backs leave, and I think it's probably going to be Zouma, right? He's probably the most likely to leave considering our options at the moment. And if he does leave, then I could see another defender being targeted, but I would be very surprised if we keep all 4 and then go out for another. I think the Thiago Silva extension, generally like a no-brainer, honestly. And
here's a question for you, Ameya. Here's a question for you. If we are targeting for the Premier League, which we should be, do you think we have the caliber of defenders to win the Premier League?
At 3 at the back, yes, but with 2 at the back, I'm not too sure. That's all. I mean, with 3 at the back system, I know it impairs us attacking wise, but then at the same time, if we had that outlet in front to hold up and then score the goals, I genuinely think we'd be in a much better position right now. So many of the games where we drew 0-0 or then we lost 1-0 because of a last minute sit of like we just opened up and gave the opposition a goal. There are so many instances this season like that, and I think that overall, right, if we had that, then I think the 3 at the back system could still work. I mean, Antonio Conte won the league with 3 at the back because he had Diego Costa and Eden Hazard up front, right? So I think that the 3 at the back system isn't particularly bad, but if we stick to this and get a midfielder and an attacker, then I think we could push for the title, but I don't know, man. I don't want to give false hope is all I'm saying. At the same time, about Gehi, I think a Premier League loan is a must for him, honestly.
No, you're right, man. I think I agree with you. 3 at the back, I think we've got all the flavors that we need. Let's not forget Azpilicueta. I mean, you still have to consider him at RCB. Then you got Reece James, who probably can fit in there as well. 3 at the back. I don't know how you change from 3 at the back, Kishan. Like, I feel like you have to keep going.
Yeah, and with Azpi, it's so weird because in my head, I always see him as this 33, 34-year-old. And then when you check his age and you see 31, you're like, oh, so you're not as old as I thought. Like, it's really weird. But yeah, I don't know. I don't get what everyone's fixation is to get out of 3 at the back, to be honest. But one annoying thing for me is I really like the 3 in the back when we had 4 attacking players on the pitch. So I don't mind if we have that, but we have like a Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. Maybe an Adama Traore.
That's right, baby. That's right. What a segue.
But if it's something like that, I really don't mind. But then it's in certain games where we put Reece into right centre back and then put Azpi into right wing back, and you feel like you lose too much attacking that and too much fluidity. Because Hudson-Odoi, let's get it right, in the right wing back position, he's basically a right winger. The amount that he takes on a full back, the amount of crosses he gets in, and like that's probably the best match I've watched us all season is when we tore Palace apart. And the interplay in that game was phenomenal. So I've always been, I like the 3 at the back system, but I do think eventually he'll go to a 4. With the whole centre back thing, I think he might even look to bring in a DM that can play centre back. So like a Rice, basically. his name. All roads lead to him, really. So it's like with him, if he can drop in, but then again, you can't see him dropping into a 4. It's more like when you play a 3 and he plays the center position of the 3, you can see him doing that kind of. But then Christensen's such a good passing defender from there, so it's such a conundrum, and I'm happy to just let them do what they want and just watch.
It's so true, Kishan. It is a massive conundrum, man. And you're right. Whoever is the DM will eventually, even if it's 4, the 2 will go wide, the 2 CBs, and the DM will sit as auxiliary sort of defender. So it will eventually, like, this is the thing about Thomas Tuchel, man. He changes formation so often within the game. So it may look like you have 4 at the back, but then it will set up as a 3 without the ball or something like that, or with the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's constantly changing around. So it is something to look forward to, 100%. Declare, so thank you very much for this super chat. This is what is weird. If Werner finds form in Euro and can bring that to next season, is there any player do you want out of the starting 11? This is the thing. We're finding it very difficult. The only thing I will have to say is that's a big if for Timo Werner. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would need to change because at the moment, it's not. The couple of misses that he had in the Champions League final were, honestly, he needs to put them away. He has to slap them.
You know how that the question is worded? Is there any players you'd want out of the starting 11? I'm not the biggest advocate because, like, technically, I think he's not great technically, is he? But I still would, even when he's out of form, you see what he does for the team, even with the goal that we scored, move the centre back there and there's a big hole in the middle. So even if we sign someone, I'm not completely against this Timo Werner playing. Like, I still think if you sign a striker, the striker's not taking Timo Werner's place. Timo Werner would be set on that left side. And the striker will go up top. So yeah, I think he'll get quite a lot of goals for us next season.
No, I agree, man. Even if the striker comes in, I think he slots in nicely as a second sort of that inside left forward, and he plays better with there's. It's no surprise that when Kai Havertz plays or when Ziyech comes into the middle as well, that we've seen against Man City, that Timo Werner gets a lot more out of it. Do you know what I mean? So whenever Timo plays in the middle, it is a little bit of a struggle. So I think someone like Lukaku, Kishan. Let's talk a little bit about Lukaku, and we'll talk about Adama Traore right after this. The whole thing about Lukaku, Inzaghi has now been, I think, confirmed as Inter Milan manager. Yeah. I think it is confirmed. Did Fabrizio give a here we go? I only care about the here we goes. If it's a here we go, then it's done. Yeah, I think it is done.
That's only for Thiago Silva.
Look, and it's been said that Inzaghi wants to sit down, Inter Milan wants to sit down with Lukaku. They want to keep Lukaku. They won the Scudetto, obviously, and they're in the Champions League. They don't want to lose out all of these players. Hakimi is another one. I mean, if we keep three at the back, well, we are linked with wing backs. Adama Traore, Hakimi, does he become an option as well? So, look, I still think it's not a straight cut answer here with Lukaku. As much as our fan base wants him, he wants to probably come as well. But if Inter, convinces him to stay and whatnot, I don't see why. Like he wouldn't, do you know what I mean? Like for one more season and play, the Champions League over there. But look, it all depends on Chelsea, how aggressive we are with the money, what type of money that we throw to them. If we give them the right amount of money, I think they sell up. Do you know what I mean? Financially, they're in a bit of a struggle. And someone like Lukaku, I'll go to you, Ameya. I think he improves the team. Like he will improve Timo Werner, as Kishan said. Timo Werner will probably still play alongside him. And both together could be absolutely dynamite for us, yeah?
100%, without a shadow of doubt. I think Lukaku is exactly the profile of striker we need, apart from Kane and Haaland, right? All three of them fit in that one particular category. It's no coincidence that we're being linked to these three, right? We want that particular profile of striker. So I genuinely think Lukaku would do us a world of good, right? And now it depends how much the board wants to listen to Inzaghi, because I remember reading, and I don't know how reliable this is, but then that the Inter want to sell players worth 80 million somehow, right? Because that's the amount of loss that they're in. So if PSG do come out and pay like 60, 70 million for Hakimi, then I think the Lukaku deal could be in doubt. I genuinely think we've got to get this wrapped up as quickly as we can. And it's going to get harder because Lukaku is going to be there at the Euros while Hakimi is not. Right. So I think that if the Hakimi deal goes through earlier, then Inter will probably be a lot more reluctant to let Lukaku go. And it's a sticky situation because I remember that one journalist that Younes also said was pretty reliable. She said she said that Lukaku is agreed terms with.
Kishan's on it. He loves that one.
I was literally looking at her tweets here, and she just tweeted something about Lukaku as well. So I was looking.
Did she?
What'd
she say? What'd she say?
She says, CFC fans, be patient. Everything in works. Lukaku agent and CFC agreed terms and are waiting for Inter decision to sell or reduce the release clause /fee. Chelsea making the next try for Declan Rice. If not, Tchouameni or Weigl, the alternatives. Sula in the pipeline.
But I don't know how reliable she is, bro. Fabrizio never tweets those sort of stuff.
Miz, you know what? Yeah, you trying to hear what you want, and then you're like, you heard Sula, and you're like, I'm not sure how reliable she is.
You know what? This is exactly when you remember that journalist Alfredo Pedula and how much he scammed us with Sarri. Like an entire month, he was like, within the next 48 hours, within the next 48 hours, within the next 48 hours. And that's how he got a name for himself.
48-hour FC. But look, the whole Lukaku thing, boys, I think Chelsea, if they really want it, they got to go out there and they got to snatch him off Inter Milan and really put the big bucks down. I know there was some rumors that 69 million pounds. I don't know if that's going to cut it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a top dog. Like, he's one of the best strikers going around. So you'd have to pay something around 80 million. And then I think Inter lets it. But I like what you said. I mean, I don't like what you said, Ameya, but I understand what you said about the Hakimi, because I would rather have Lukaku come to us. But the whole thing about Hakimi is he's not really getting used by Inter Milan. Do you know what I mean? Like, and now that Kante is gone, Inzaghi's in. I'm not really sure whether they're going to continue with the three at the back and one not. Hakimi is a player that it kind of makes sense that Inter wants to let go. So if that happens, as you said, then maybe they keep Lukaku. So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not really sure about that journalist, man. I do want to believe her, but at the same time, I'm like, you're talking a lot of stuff, man. You're talking a lot of dreams, selling us a lot of dreams. But let's talk about Adama Traore, guys. Matt Law has come out with an absolute... I don't even know where this rumor... I'll go to you, Kishan. Adama Traore, I've seen Wolves play, quite a few times. I like what Adama Traore brings in. He's robust, he's muscly, but I feel like he's inconsistent, man. He's another one of those inconsistent player. Is he going to do madness in the right wing-back position? Perhaps he can, because he will add a lot of physique in attack, which probably Aspie can't, if that's what we're sort of moving towards in the future, where Reece James becomes a RCB, and we somehow move Aspie. I still think Aspie probably has another season, couple of seasons at best, and it's still at a rotational purpose as well. And Reece James, as much as I sort of like him to be an RCB, and I think he has the game from deep to do that, but he has to learn a lot of stuff in terms of passing and all of that kind of stuff. As a right wing back, I think he needs to be a lot more bolder going forward. There's only the one game against Man City where I saw him really rip things apart, but that's after Thomas Tuchel, I think, indicated to him to go after Mendy. So what's your thoughts, man? I mean, I feel like we do need a different flavor as well in the right wing back position, or in the right centre back, right side of our team. I know you sort of said you like Callum Hudson-Odoi, but I think, my man, he's out of favour, man. I'm starting to think he's probably going to get loaned out. The whole Sancho situation as well, which is for another day. We're linked with Sancho. Maybe we give Callum over there. So I don't know what's going on. But what's your thoughts about the right wing back area and Adama Traore?
Such a weird one, because again, when we talk about really unique players and Kante's body type and stuff, Adama Traore is one of those very weird body types for a footballer. And he seems to muscle his way past really quick, but no end product. So I'm kind of struggling to see where this came from. Maybe they were trying to type Neto and Traore came out or whatnot, but I can't.
It's a typo. We want Neto and then accidentally Traore, autocorrect in the mobile.
Yeah, literally, but it's a very weird one, and you can't expect us in serious games to play this guy right wing back. I think maybe it's like a backup plan. If it even is true, then possibly it's like a backup plan for these really low block games when we're not getting much, and there's like 20 minutes left. You think fling on Adama Traore, run at your guy, flinging balls in the box for Lukaku to nod in. Then I think it could be a plan. But
harsh.
He's probably smoother than Werner still. He's smoother than Werner, but it don't feel like Chelsea quality when we're talking about the budget we've got, and we'll use that to sign a few world-class players that don't fit the mold. But it does seem like Tuchel wants this sort of backup wing option where we get linked to Traore, and Hoffman is another one from Mönchengladbach that we get linked to. So it's a bit odd where you think, where are you really going to fit in? It seems like that might be a wing back kind of thing, but I'm not too sure about it. And I'm not really Adama Traore is an intriguing one because of how unique he is, but he's not someone that gets you as a fan that
really
makes
excited.
You think we're going to challenge for the league with Adama Traore. So
we're winning the treble with Adama Traore. I mean, Ameya, one thing it kind of lets me sort of feel is that the three at the back is probably going to continue with that kind of rumor. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like that right-sided player. Let's face it, he's not coming in as a winger. Like, we've got a plethora of wingers. Like, Ziyech doesn't get opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Like, Pulisic is all of a sudden coming off the bench again. So we've got a lot of... Callum Hudson-Odoi is looking like he's probably going to go on a loan. So this whole Adama Traore, I mean, looks like we're thinking about the three at the back and the wing-back situation. I mean, is this the caliber of wing backs that you want? Or, I mean, there's Hakimi as well. Like, I mean, there's a lot of better wing backs out there.
Exactly. And I was listening to Matt Law on the London Blue podcast. I don't know if you guys know that. It's a pretty, massive podcast. So I think that Matt Law, when he was asked about any surprise transfers, he mentioned Hakimi's name. In fact, he said that if he did I listened to it entirely, the entire 1 hour of it. And then he clearly says that we want a DM. The DM options are Rice, Tchouameni, Weigl. And then we want a striker. The striking options are Kane, Lukaku, Haaland. And then he goes on and says a centre-back maybe, but he's not too sure about a centre-back. And he said a wild card could be a right wing-back option because he wants another different type of caliber, right? And so I think that's where the Hoffman and the Adama Traore rumors are coming in. I wouldn't be too surprised if we go in for Hakimi either. I genuinely wouldn't. It would be a very interesting situation for sure. But I do hope that we get the DM and the centre forward wrapped up before we go on exploring these other areas. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we end up with another, right wing back, right mid, right back. I don't even know what any right-sided player who crosses the ball into the box.
Man, some of these comments are making me laugh, boys.
Ameya, the thing is, like, I'd love Hakimi as well, but you just can't see us doing double business with Inter. Like, I can't see it. Very rarely happens where you sign like 2 high-profile players from one club. So I can't see it happening. But like I said, if we carry on the system at right wing back, there's probably no one better in the whole world than Hakimi to play that position.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of. Yeah, you're right. Like Rafael Guerrero, but that's more left wing back from Dortmund. Yeah. Hakimi is made for wing-back play. Do you know what I mean? He is your classic wing-back. He will attack like an animal on the right side, take players on, cross. He'll get a lot of assists and whatnot. Yeah, man, a lot of people are not really enjoying this Adama Traore rumors. Adama Traore equals Pedro 2.0. We are winning the league next season. Oh, man, there you go. I'm just trying to think, who else in the Premier League, Kishan, off the top of your head, in the Premier League, that could probably play a wing-back position, right wing-back? Who do you reckon out there, like all the other teams? I'm just trying to think. No one really comes off the top of my mind.
Lamptey?
Oh, we should have kept him, bro. We really should have kept him. I said we needed to keep him, man, because I knew Reece could have become something else. Do you know what I mean?
If I could throw in a wild card,
go on,
you don't have to look at other Premier League teams. We've got Tino Livramento right in our ranks.
I knew you were
Tino Livramento.
Oh, sorry.
It's Livramento, not Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the Lawrence guy? Isn't he a wing back?
He is a wing back as well, but I think he's very versatile. But Livramento is like right wing back. He's played right wing back the entire season.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to come straight into the starting lineup before like a loan deal.
Probably could be as an understudy. He was invited to train with the first team squad by Thomas Tuchel along with Angerin, but he wasn't there in the Champions League final squad. But I think that Thomas Tuchel really rates this fellow. I think Doherty, you know what?
No way. I'm not hearing this.
I mean, just that the name popped to my mind. It genuinely did, because he played so well under Nuno Espirito Santo at Wolves because of the 3 at the back system. And then I was actually very surprised that a Mourinho team signed Doherty, because he is like the Alonso at right wing back, and then Mourinho wants that defensive. He is literally Alonso at right wing back. He got so many goals and assists the last season, and then at Spurs it hasn't really worked out, understandably, because he doesn't have that defensive capability of a right back. So a right wing back, Matt Doherty is actually pretty good right wing back.
Going back to the Tariq Lamptey, Kishan, I mean, is it one of those situations that, we let him go, we can't go back to him now, like the whole Declan Rice thing? If we let him go, we can't get him back. I mean, you made a mistake, man. You made a mistake with Tariq Lamptey. Go and get him back. Like, that's my attitude. This guy's going to be a superstar. Like, you're right, Kishan. Like, honestly, besides Tariq Lamptey, who are the other better right wing backs in the league? There are none. Like, very few players at the back.
Nelson Semedo.
Nah, he's not. He's not. He's not that level. Semedo, I do not rate him.
Would you get Tariq Lamptey back, Kishan?
I'd love to have him back, but then it comes down to this whole thing. Like, if we were getting someone in the position that could Traore or a Hoffman, then yeah, go for Lamptey. But are we sticking with this system long term? There's a lot of questions that you have to answer before. And then I guess with Lamptey, you kind of got to see where, do you think he could become a normal right back and he'd be good at it? And then if he does, he still has with Reece then as well. So it's a tough one. I'd love for him to come back, especially with him being like an academy kid. He just has that Chelsea DNA. I think Tuchel's big on that, but there's no real links for us to Tariq Lamptey as well. So we're putting this out
there isn't. Yeah.
We don't get. You see quite a few links with Arsenal and them. That would annoy me quite a lot. But
hard.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it will happen, and especially because he is also injured right now, and we've not seen him play for months. I can't remember the last time he actually played, if he even played this year in 2021. So it's been ages. So we kind of got to see how he reacts after that injury. If he's good, we'll see who gets linked. Because I remember initially when he was really good at Brighton, there was rumors about Bayern Munich and whatnot. So,
bro, he was literally doing everything for Brighton. He was assisting, he was scoring goals. He was
so good,
havoc.
Literally so good. Yeah, he was causing havoc, and I'd love that at right wing back. But it's also if we play right wing back. So we got
true. That's enough with all the rumors and whatnot, and we covered a lot of Chelsea news. I do want to finish things off with talking about some of the post-match quotes and whatnot, some funny stuff that's happened. Do want to finish it off with that. Ladies and gentlemen, 180 plus. We had literally 220 at one stage. Smash the like button if you're enjoying the show. Helps the channel out, helps the video out a lot. I can clearly see you guys are enjoying this, so smash the like button. Don't hesitate. We're European champions. Don't be stingy on the likes. Hit the likes, man. Do you know what I mean? And also the panelists, their socials are in the descriptions right now. Go on there, follow, man. Especially Ameya's YouTube channel. Go and follow that. Ameya, I'll start with you. I'll go to Kishan after Kishan, Nishal. There's just so many of these guys. And I'll go to Kishan after this. Ameya, post-match, a lot of funny stuff happening. I want to start off with, let's go with Timo Werner, with the journalist.
I don't really understand the question, but we're European champions.
He was literally like trying to listen, and then he's like, my man, I don't really understand what your question is. I'm a European champion, so next question.
What a legend.
Talk about that. Like how much, hopefully this changes his confidence level in terms of, next season that he bangs up. I feel like he should walk into the field with a lot more, like he's a European champion now, you know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. And if he played half as well as he did his interviews, then I think we would have a serious player in our hands, because every time Werner does an interview, you just feel like listening to him, don't you? And he always says the right things. And
Mr.
I think
Interview.
that Mr. Interview. And I think he's loved by Chelsea fans as well. His chant is brilliant. I've seen so many videos of his chant all around. And then against Leicester at home as well, we could see him dancing to it. So I really think that he is a brilliant guy, and I really hope it works out for him, because honestly, it's been sad how the season has gone, and you maybe give him an adjustment year, but next season he needs that confidence, and he needs to start smashing the ball. So many times he tries to, be too clever about it, or he fluffs his shot. Just smack it, man. Just smack the ball into the roof of the net. That's what I want to see. Just smack that into the roof of the net. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see from Timo Werner. And hopefully he does. And a lot of other stuff, I'll let you guys talk about, the other Kai Havertz and Jorginho as well. He shaved his beard on live television because he lost the bet. So
that's amazing.
A lot of incredible stuff. But the best moment for me, genuinely, was Kante hugging his mother, and Mendy as well. How far have they come? So many inspirational stories. Like legit, I was like listing out the number of inspirational stories from us from our Champions League win. The number of stories we have: Mendy, Thiago Silva, and then Kurt Zouma, and then N'Golo Kante, and then like everyone has a story behind it. Azpilicueta as well. Everyone has a story behind them, and it's just heartwarming to see, especially like, I know that wife and girlfriend and family, like that sort of stuff. Yeah. But when your mother comes, right, that's something that
I was thinking about that. I swear, smack that all on the floor. Oh man, yeah. Continue, bro.
Yeah, hopefully he does smack that into the goal and not onto the floor. But yeah, that was the most heartwarming moment for me, genuinely.
Nah, 100, man, 100. Kishan, we can't escape Kai Havertz post-match was asked, "Yeah, do you think you're now repaid the 70 million?" He's like, I effing don't care. I'm European champion. Do you know what I mean? Do you think that's fair as well, Kishan? That look, we just throw the price tag on his face too much, and I guess it's inevitable because it's so high. Like it is the record-breaking one, right? For Chelsea, I'm pretty sure that's the record-breaking.
Yeah.
For Chelsea,
It's a weird one because like some articles say it is, some will say it isn't. But I think if you're signing him, then it probably would have been.
It is. I think it is. I think the Chelsea official website said that he was our record signing. So I'd say he probably is our record signing.
Yeah. So from that perspective, Kishan, I mean, those emotions were probably warranted. Yeah.
That price tag was only relevant when he was doing badly. And then when you're doing well, no one says anything. And with that Champions League final goal, he literally became an instant legend. Like, you know how when we talk about joining exclusive clubs, you look at the players that have scored for us in a UCL final, and it's Lampard, Drogba, and Kai Havertz. Like,
that's unbelievable.
He has joined that gang. And like, what more can you say? Like, we've won the biggest trophy, and you're telling him about the price tag. He is not going to give a flying.
2 cents.
Yeah, literally. So, and why should he? He's just won the biggest thing, and we see it as a price tag, and people will see it as a price tag. But him, it's like he's made that transfer, and he's come from Germany. He's put in all that hard work, and he's together with this team built an environment and whatnot. And people from the outside just see it as a price tag, but it's been like this gradual process, and you could see him getting better and more confident, and then he might drop a little bit of a stinker and you think, a bit weird. Like, he was clean through away against Arsenal, and he puts that one over the bar. Remember that one? And this guy's not a natural finisher. And he saved the one for the Champions League final. And if we had a choice,
that's his first Champions League goal as well.
It is.
That's his first Champions League goal in the final. Boy, he kept it for the best time.
And I was just reading all the quotes back as well. Like, Ralph Rangnick came out and said when he signed for us, he was like, "There's nothing this guy can't do. He's like the modern day Johan Cruyff," and that's coming from Ralph Rangnick. Like, I was really excited about all the potential talk, and that this seems like the first step to getting there. But it seems like the first step to getting there, but it's already peaked. So weird because it's the Champions League. Like, how does he top this now? How does he top this?
You win it again. That's how you top it. You win that again.
You win it again. Yeah, that'd be top it. But it's just like even doing it once, because at this club we've not had it that many times, like Real Madrid or whatever. But it's just he's written in folklore now. Chelsea legend.
Exactly.
You don't matter. You take the screenshot from now, and no matter what happens in the rest of his career, he's always going to have this.
100, man, 100. Now, honestly, there's been some epic parties in the background. By the way, shout out to, I believe it's, what's Ishan's page, Ameya, the CFC blogs, I think? That's Ishan's.
Chelsea FC blogs _ I think that's
guys, check that page out. Chelsea FC blogs _ what is it? _
That's it. It's just Chelsea FC blogs and _
Yeah, check that page out, guys. He's created a thread of all the parties that has happened post-match. It's an incredible thread of all the different parties from different players and their Instagrams. Check that out, honestly. I was baffled with all the different things. Like, it was so crazy. Tammy Abraham celebrating, I think someone commented, the man wasn't even in the squad.
He did a John Terry, put on the full kit and everything. He came out.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say to you, it's like, out of the players that we were saying, everyone has their each individual story. Which ones were like the best ones for you that you thought? Because I still think, obviously, you're happy for everyone, but there's some stories that stand out. Which ones were the ones for you? For me, I'd say like Thiago Silva was one, because he didn't win it last year and he does it this year. Giroud being from Arsenal, for me, that was like, I love that one as well.
I'll go first before I lay it off to Ameya. you know me, I'm an emotional guy. You guys would have seen that I broke down in my last review, right? And I like the storylines of Thiago Silva, Thomas Tuchel, Azpilicueta, and Kante and all of that. Fantastic storylines. I can't get past the Rudiger one, man. Literally, this is another story that I want to share quickly. Post-match, he was saying, and he had someone next to him, I can't remember who it was, and he was saying, "Oh, do you want me gone now?" Like he was literally looking at the camera and saying, "Do you want me out of the club now? Do you want me out of the club? Do you want me out of the club?" And he was pointing at his badge. And then also when he was hugging Thomas Tuchel, he kept on saying, "I told you, I told you." I just think that the whole Rudiger story, from what happened when Lampard got sacked to the abuse that he copped off the back of the guys, the journalist's article that we're talking about today, he's the one who, opened up that article back then. I mean, look, he's doing what he's doing. It's not his fault for doing his job. But whoever was leaking those informations about Rudiger from inside, they did not paint a good picture on Rudiger. They really did not paint a good picture. And Rudiger, guys, check out his page. Rudiger has a recent article about racism. And there's a big quote there, Kishan. I'm not sure if you saw that quote. He said, if you're one of those players that are fighting or having a bust up in the training ground and you're from a particular neighborhood, then you're lauded as captain, leader, and, a superstar. But if the same personality is on another player that's from a different neighborhood, then you're a gangster and you're a thug. And he finished the quote by saying, same personality, different brand. And I thought that's deep. That is deep. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that story is incredible. You look at the whole Chelsea fan base now cheering for him. I can name you exactly because I had a video off the back of that. You guys all remember. I went berserk because I didn't appreciate the way people going after Rudiger. It was so wrong. Do you know what I mean? So I love that story, man. That's the story for me. But yeah, Ameya, what's your big story?
I don't even know where to start. I think the Rudiger one, it's beautiful. That article, guys, if you haven't read it, please do go read it. It genuinely touches your heart because there was another incident.
Awesome.
And he mentions this quickly. I won't take up too much of your time. He said that as a kid, right, he was brought up in such a way where if you see an older lady carrying groceries or something in the back, then you go and help her carry it. But then when he tried to do it, she thought that he was robbing her.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a heartbreaking story. Honestly, the beautifully written piece by Rudiger. I didn't know he could take up journalism as well and quit football right now. That's how good the article is written.
Honestly, he's too misunderstood, bro. He's way too misunderstood. I'm never gonna. I know I went after him as well under Frank Lampard era. He wasn't that good, but I should have realized that he just came back from an injury and he wasn't playing. And he even mentioned it in that article that he wasn't playing good. He was having a bad time. But my God, under Thomas Tuchel, boys, you have to agree, he's been world class. I have to say, he's been world class. Like I can't actually say another centre back that's been at his level.
He was on the same pitch as Ruben Diaz 2 days ago, and then only one player stood out amongst the two. That's all I want to say about Rudiger.
The block from Phil Foden. That's 1-0 if he don't block.
Yes. Yeah. Bro, that's as good as saving a goal. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap things up. You guys are it's incredible. We've still got almost 170 people on, man. That's been amazing stream. The boys have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. Smash the like button. It's nearly 150 likes. Get it to at least 170 likes if you can while we're at it. Couple of announcements. I will most likely have a Talk Chelsea with Miz segment later tonight UK time, so possibly around 9 p.m. UK time, where I'm going to open up the gates for you guys, 166 people. You guys, it will be open. You guys come in, you talk about whatever you want to talk about. I want to know all your thoughts and your feelings about us winning the Champions League. So the door will be open for the fans to come in and talk. So do look out for that. We can talk about anything you want, transfers, any news, whatever the hell that you want to talk about, we'll talk about that. 9 p.m. UK time tonight, which is Monday, I believe. Yeah, today's Monday, man. I keep forgetting what day it is these days. So yeah, 9 p.m. UK time Monday. Check out for Talk Chelsea with Miz. Happy for you guys to join in. And yeah, my panelists, check out their socials in the description. And yeah, until next time, everyone. See you.